How do I soundproof this outbuilding for acoustic drums? So let's take a look inside. This is a single brick construction. They've put a new tiled roof on and it's a concrete floor. First thing to note is you will need to insulate that floor with 50mm insulation by means of a floating floor. And that's done after you've soundproofed all the walls and ceiling. It's the last thing that you put on. If you put in 50mm sound insulation to the floor, the finished floor height will be around 75mm. That's the space loss to the floor. To the ceiling, you need 200mm. That's what we know is required to reduce the noise for acoustic drums. You need to get this ceiling up to the same spec as the walls plus a floating frame. Because it's a single brick construction, I would recommend sound deadening the brickwork with a 20mm rubber, maybe a viscoelastic membrane or a mass loaded vinyl. Sound deaden the brickwork and then build a floating room within a room. What I mean by that is a 25mm gap off of the walls that you've already sound deadened. So then your frame, isolated from the floor, isolated from the brickwork, which is sound deadened, and then isolated from the ceiling too. You'll have new rafters that will sit on that floating frame, giving you a 200mm space loss off of the ceiling. So you can see with this particular outbuilding, it's going to have very low ceilings. The first thing to note when soundproofing an outbuilding for acoustic drums is you will need to raise the floor by 75mm and you'll need to insulate the ceiling 200mm from the underside of the existing joist. With that amount of space loss required, it's very common that the roof will have to be raised to bring it up to the same spec as the walls.